Hey guys, Malarkey here. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about just general guidelines that I follow as far as staying safe, basic cybersecurity steps that you can take as far as protecting your data, passwords, all that, making sure that you don't, you decrease your attack surface and you just stay safe in, the online ecosystem. The first thing I want to cover is basic information gathering. So see, I have a couple tabs up here, just trying to, I was putting up little infographics, like those little professional YouTube channels. But, I'm going to just keep it raw. I'm going to keep it simple. There's websites like this, breach.vip. I don't even know if I can share this on YouTube, but fuck it, it's informative. This is educational, okay? So, damn, my mic is kind of going loud, ain't it? Anyways, so yeah, with things like this searches, this has like a catalog of databases that have been leaked. And the main thing that people do is they recycle passwords. They use birthdays, they use pet names, they use this, that, and the third. And especially with, Facebook and just basic open source information gathering, also open source intelligence, you can gather this information pretty easily. So like, let's look up a name. Let's just look up Jack. Let's see. Okay, we'll actually do wildcard, and I think it may not pop up with anything. Let me see. Let me just put that in. Let me see. Nothing's popping up. I probably should have got a example. Well, I'll use an example email of mine actually. So I'll do this email right here actually. So this email right here. So there's nothing, search results for by gmail.com. Nothing popped up. Oh, you need to be logged in to perform lookups. Yeah, I'm not a good reader. Let me do that. Okay, so I'm logged in now. So let's look up. Matter of fact, we'll just look up Jack because I think it'll possibly work now. So if we look up Jack, we can see all these different. So aptoid.com. Damn, there's a lot of Jacks from aptoid.com. Canva, all of this. So people gather this information. You see do they have any passwords? I'm trying to find a password. Damn, that's a lot. Let me actually do a very basic name. So, damn. Okay. I'm trying to see if they have like, okay, so this hash right here. So it's really as simple as this. So let's say I copy this hash. And then we go here. So we go to this website, hashes.com. We take that hash that we just got, and then we do the little captcha so it's not abused. And people can do this offline. So we do that, and let's see. Zero found, one not found. Okay. We can attempt to decrypt these hashes for free. Hash identifier. Okay, well, we'll do the hash identifier. Okay, so this is a SHA-256. It says possible, but it's more than likely a SHA-256 hash. Yeah, that actually makes sense. There's 256. So yeah, but people have these things called rainbow tables. So for stuff like MD5, they can easily be cracked using these rainbow tables, especially if there's no salt. And with that, they can then get that password and they'll try credential stuffing, where they will use that password for other platforms like Instagram, Facebook, this, that, and the third. And so that's why you can't recycle passwords. And so this leads into another thing as far as security and what I go by. So typically with these database leaks, they could release stuff like phone numbers, passwords, emails, addresses, possibly credit card information, bank information. And so with all of my accounts, I do not use all of my bank accounts, email accounts. I do not use phone verification because a SIM swap is very easy to happen. There's really two ways for a SIM swap to happen. It could be with, let's say, someone steals your credentials and phone number. They have like some sort of semi-fulls or some information on you that they can use to verify they're you. So they'll try and manipulate your mobile operator, like let's say if you use Verizon, T-Mobile, or whatever, and they'll basically try to reorder your SIM card. Or maybe try to, with the eSIMs nowadays, they'll try to make the operator detach the phone number from your phone to a phone in their possession. And so they'll use that in order to get into an account. Actually, I kind of lied. There was 3 ways. But one of them is kind of stupid, and it's usually used on older people. Another way is if they have someone on the inside in Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, and they pay them, monthly or per transaction in order to do that SIM swap process. So they don't have to go through the social engineering of the mobile operator or the full gathering of information to try and fool the operator and spoof your identity. They'll do that, and they'll be able to get a SIM swap done. And the third way is not necessarily a SIM swap, but sometimes on Facebook Marketplace, you will message a person and they'll send basically a PIN to your phone, and it's the PIN to log into your account. And they'll say, oh, verify this for me, or some stupid shit like that. And that's another way they can get you. But that's the stupidest shit ever, but people still fall for it. So it is what it is. Another thing I use as far as for password management is something like a variant of KeePass XC or some sort of software that can just be a basic password manager. Like I have my own that I coded myself that I use. But KeePass XC is open source. Anybody's able to use it on most Linux systems. It's in the repositories. I'm pretty sure in Windows, I don't really use Windows like that except at work. But I'm pretty sure they have it on Windows as well. So yeah. Oh, you see, maybe if I read. Yeah, on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Yeah, I know on Mac OS it is. But yeah, something like that. You just have one master password that you have to remember. Just make it very complicated, but it's not that hard. Just remember one very complicated password or very niche password that can't be guessed, like a phrase, which I'll get into that in a moment. But yeah, and then you just have randomly generated passwords for everything, and you just pull from the password manager. Though it is tedious, it is the best way to avoid if you just so happen to get caught in a database leak. It doesn't compromise you because you used random passwords for everything. So on the topic of password security, this is a little thing I found on DuckDuckGo. But yeah, it's better to use passphrases than, let's say like here, summertime 1234 $, $hashtag. You may think that adding all of these random symbols and characters will make your password stronger, but in reality, it doesn't. What makes your password stronger is it being longer. So though this top one may be simpler, and you think that that's easy to hack, the longer it is, the harder it is to crack. Because there's so many words, especially if you use words like from your favorite anime, favorite cartoon, or very niche stuff. Like let's say if you use like Sharingan or Hadouken and shit like that. That's not going to be in the standard dictionary probably. So using that on top of a very long actual passphrase is way better than a password with a whole bunch of random symbols that isn't that long. Even though it looks complicated, it is not complicated to hack. And so on that note, especially with crypto wallets, where they have 12-word, 24-word phrases, why do you think they use it? Or why do you think that's the method? Because it's way better than just using random symbols and numbers and letters just to make it look complicated. It's very superficial in its complication. So you may ask, okay, so if I can't get a code over the phone or through text, then what should I do? What you should do is using a over the phone one-time pin, a timed over the phone one-time pin. I think that's what it stands for. I'm not gonna lie. Matter of fact, let me look it up. Time-based one-time password. There we go. That's what the fuck it means. Okay, I just know that's TOTP. I didn't know what it actually stood for. But yeah, so it's a time-based one-time password. It's very similar to the code you get on the actual phone, except it's not sending it through SMS. It is time-based. So depending on the time of day, it literally calculates the day, month, year, time down to the millisecond, and and that's how it determines the one-time password. So that's really the best way. It kind of goes back on itself. So you can use email for verification, and then you can use a time-based one-time password for verification. So that creates a two-factor authentication that you would ideally want. But at the same time, you would kind of have to cross the emails upon one another so that you don't use the phone. So one email would have one factor of authentication from another email, and then that email from another email, but also with the actual one-time or the time-based one-time password. So yeah, that's a way to do it. It's a little bit tedious and not ideal, but it greatly reduces your attack surface. And it really, I'm not going to say it's rare, but it's uncommon for this type of shit to happen as far as SIM swaps and, someone being able to get that pin. And there's other ways around with Instagram, Facebook. They have social engineering vulnerabilities and just vulnerabilities in general. Like some, I can't name them off the top of my head, but some websites allow so that you can put in a password you remember from last time, then get back in. So even if you change your password that was leaked in the database, they can still get in if they're able to use that password in time. I believe it's like 30 days or so. And so, yeah, this is the alternative that I use for as far as authentication. Another note to add, as far as how I mentioned crossing emails so that they stack on one another, like in a circular way, you could just have a master password and then the actual PIN as far as verification. That kind of skipped my mind that the password is one form of authentication than the one-time PIN. But, multi-factor is the best way. So the email, the time-based one-time password, and your actual password. So yeah, forgot to mention that. And so back to the, this part right here, the little image on full screen. To wrap it all up, that's basically what I do, or like some of the steps I take for security. I've yet to have a scare. I've had a couple database leaks because, database leaks are always going to happen, but I have no fear because I don't recycle my passwords. And I know I will not be social engineered because I block every single number. I don't contact anybody unless I know them. I don't interact with anybody I don't know. Facebook Marketplace, they can't get me. So, yeah, I'm not saying I'm impenetrable, like my fortress is impenetrable. But, I like to think myself as very wary of these situations as far as social engineering goes. Now, if there's a vulnerability in the system that I'm using, then, that could get me fucked over, But as far as the measures I'm taking, I think they're pretty good. No scares. And yeah, maybe this can help somebody that's trying to improve their security. Maybe you got your Instagram hack, Snapchat hack, some shit like that, and you want a couple steps as far as securing your shit. And yeah, this is what I find ideal right now for me. There are other things I do, like I said, but they go deeper than the surface of this video. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed.